Now at 11, one man's anger caught on camera why he decided to smash in a restaurant window, sending glass flying. Plus, working to end officer-involved shootings, a controversial bill gets Governor Newsom's signature. Tonight, we hear from Central Coast law enforcement and why they say there's still more to be done. And the continued dispute between bus drivers and Santa Cruz Metro, how their ongoing negotiations are affecting customers.
And there's a mild start to the week with temperatures in the 70s to 80s inland, but those will soon creep into the triple digits. I'll help you plan out your week coming up.
And how soon is too soon to diet? A popular weight loss program's new app is under fire tonight for its new target audience.
This is KION News Channel 546 at 11.
With gratitude, with appreciation, and with a deep sense of responsibility, in a hope that we can reduce the number of lives lost and we can begin to build trust and heal.
Hopeful words from Governor Newsom today after he signed Assembly Bill 392, known as the California Act to Save Lives. It was propelled by the shooting death of Stephon Clark last year. His family and others who lost relatives to police shootings were there for the signing. You could see pictures, holding up pictures of their loved ones. Together with Senate Bill 230, the legislative package would go further than other states in the country, any other state, when it comes to use of force for law enforcement. It's our top story here at 11. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Amanda Gomez. The governor insists these bills will help California modernize practices for the use of force. AB 392 stalled in the Senate in 2018, but was reintroduced back in February. Critics say public safety would be at risk, forcing officers, they say, to second guess themselves, but many law enforcement agencies support this new law. AB 392 would require every state law enforcement officer to receive training strictly designed to minimize use of force and require them to use all other options possible before resorting to force. It would also set requirements about de-escalation and other topics, as well as give detailed reporting standards. Today, one of the co-authors of this bill said its passage couldn't come soon enough.
Far too many days have gone by with far too many deaths because of the inaction of those who have the power to enact change.
Still, supporters say there is more work to be done. Currently, SB 230 needs to pass in the state legislature. If passed, the Senate bill would change policies to require more training for officers, especially in areas like de-escalation, mental health issues, and communicating with the public. KION's Alicia Machado joins us now with what local law enforcement agencies have to say about AB 392 becoming law. Alicia?
Amanda, officers I spoke with feel the new law is a good start, but doesn't go far enough. They're hoping the legislature will take action to pass SB 230, authored by State Senator Ana Caballero, to provide officers with more resources.
Governor Gavin Newsom put pen to paper Monday, signing AB 392 into law.
It's one thing to sign a piece of paper, pass legislation. It's another to change hearts and minds, to change culture, to change the way people conduct themselves.
The legislation only allows officers to use deadly force when there is an imminent threat of death or serious injury to an officer or other people. The Salinas Police Officers Association was against the original bill, along with other law enforcement agencies who had concerns over language that defined what is considered necessary use of deadly force. They felt it could potentially criminalize officers.
It began as a much more punitive bill against law enforcement, and over the past months, the legislature has worked to put together a bill that actually meets the requirements, meets the desires and goals of Californians.
Monterey County Sheriff Steve Burnell said in a statement that the amendments, quote, maintain fidelity to the objectively reasonable officer's standard without jeopardizing public or officer safety.
I just think at this time that we're about 50% there, but 392 doesn't fund any additional training for officers, and if we're trying to improve the outcome in our communities, that's very, very important, and just as important as having the language in the law.
Knowlton says SB 230 would provide officers with critical mental health, de-escalation, and scenario-based training, along with funding, provisions that the association feels are necessary in order for AB 392 to be successful.
SB 230 is currently stuck in committee, but supporters say the bill, along with AB 392, will serve as an example for other states to follow. Amanda, back to you.
All right, Alicia, thank you. To news across the nation now, red flag laws could help prevent mass shootings. Those laws allow families and law enforcement to remove firearm privileges from anyone who may be a danger to themselves or others. In one study, researchers found that in 21 cases of gun violence from 2016 to 2018, those involved declared their intent to commit a mass shooting, but were able to limit access to guns with help from red flag laws. They believe that intervention can play a role in efforts to prevent future mass shootings. With the nation on high alert in the aftermath of recent mass shootings, police across the country have arrested several men they say expressed interest in their own domestic terror attacks. The first in Ohio, a 20-year-old self-proclaimed white nationalist was arrested after making a threatening post about a mass shooting at a nearby Jewish community center. He also attended the deadly 2017 rally in Charlottesville.
That kicked off a very intense investigation. He was charged initially right now with telephone communication harassment and aggravated menacing.
2 other men were arrested in Florida and Connecticut for making mass shooting threats over text, and the other for trying to buy a large capacity gun magazine out of state. Investigators also discovered numerous weapons and tactical gear inside his home. In your crime alert, a Salinas man was convicted last week of continuous sexual abuse of 2 minors and lewd contact with another victim. Back in August 2018, 2 of the victims told their family that Alexander Cortez had been molesting them for years. They said they didn't report it because they were afraid no one would believe them. Cortez will be sentenced in October. He faces 75 years in prison. A man is behind bars tonight after a Salinas taxi driver and his son were brutally attacked over the weekend. This all happened late Saturday night in North Salinas. Police arrested 39-year-old Joshua Guevara, who they say is from out of town. Officers say they found him hiding out in the Buffalo Wild Wings bathroom after the attack. Police say it started earlier that night when Guevara demanded a ride from the taxi driver. They say he refused. The taxi driver refused. That's when Guevara pulled out a knife and stabbed him. When he started stealing from the man, that's when the driver's son stepped in. Police say intervention isn't always the safest move, but it's a personal choice.
Who knows? The fact that he intervened could have, helped the first victim in not being more seriously hurt.
Keep in mind, police say it is important to keep yourself safe. If you see a violent altercation take place, just be a witness. Guevara was booked into the county jail for robbery and attempted murder. Court records show he pled not guilty in court today. 3 family members are in the hospital, including a newborn baby, tonight after a crash on Friday night on Highway 152. The parents and baby were driving on that roadway when a car swerved into their lane and hit them. Here's a look at the aftermath of that crash. A total of 3 cars were involved, but CHP says that family had the worst of the injuries. At the time of the accident, the family was headed home together after their son was just released from the NICU. All 3 were flown to different trauma centers. A family member says the accident has hit them hard.
Our family, Abraham, he's absolutely the last one of us that deserves it. We hope that the baby's going to be able to at least see his mom or his dad at some point.
The family says the mom, dad, and baby have yet to be reunited. CHP says it doesn't look like drugs or alcohol were factors, but the crash is under investigation. A vicious act against a journalist was caught on camera. We want to warn you, this video might be difficult to watch. The reporter was covering a demonstration against gender violence in Mexico City when he was approached by an unknown man who punched him in the face, knocking him out. Fortunately, he was not badly hurt. This is under investigation now. In Seattle, police are looking for this man who smashed in a restaurant window after he was asked to move his car from a no parking zone. You can see the glass fly inside the restaurant as people try to run and catch him. He threw a no parking sign into that restaurant. Employees say having someone react like this is a first for them, but ultimately want the man to be caught and face consequences. All right, let's send things over now to our Weather Authority meteorologist, Zach McIntyre.
Thank you, Amanda. It was a nice day here on the Central Coast. Very mild temperatures inland, really only 70s to 80s. We had a couple 90s out there right now. temperatures are mild, mostly in the 60s all across the central coast. Around the bay, we're talking low 60s and just a degree or two warmer for places like Parkfield at 64 degrees. Now, heading into tomorrow, we're going to see inland spots warming up about 6 to 8 degrees. Coastal spots will stay very similar to what we were today. Maybe a little bit warmer up in Santa Cruz, but for places around the bay, we'll wake up to upper 50s, and it'll be another drizzly start. So for that morning commute, give yourself a couple extra minutes. Expect a few slick spots in the road. We're not going to see quite as much drizzle as we saw this morning, but I am thinking we'll have one more day of those drizzly conditions here on the central coast. Moving into lunchtime, temperatures mostly in the upper 60s for Monterey into the peninsula. A few breaks of sunshine for Monterey, but we'll keep those clouds really throughout the day on the southern portion of the coast. Moving into dinner time, temperatures will mostly be in the mid 60s, so a nice day on the coast. I'd bring that jacket for the morning and evening hours. Inland spots, though, you can leave that jacket at home. I'll tell you about those warm temperatures coming up in just a little bit, Amanda.
All right, Zach, we'll see you then. Thank you. This developing story now out of Capitol Hill. 2 U.S. representatives blocked from visiting Israel and the Palestinian territories are speaking about the trip they would have had. They claim the Israeli government is violating human rights and shut down their trip to avoid exposure. Both congresswomen gave emotional testimonies during a press conference today, one even consulting with her family to help her make the ultimate decision not to go.
I think my grandmother said it beautifully when she said, I'm her asfur. Asfur in Arabic means her bird. And she said, I'm her dream manifested. I am her free bird. So why would I come back and be caged and bow down when my election rose her head up high, gave her dignity for the first time?
Could hear the emotion there. The 2 lawmakers have repeatedly criticized Israeli policies. Prime Minister Netanyahu says his decision to deny them entry has to do with respect. Now the congresswomen are calling on their colleagues to carry out their trip. The creepy, crawly consequence that spiders face after a big storm. That story coming up. Plus, buses delayed in Santa Cruz County, the reason behind the slowdown, and how your commute could be affected. And a bad case of mistaken identity leaves one man the victim of a violent beating. Welcome back. A creepy, crawly story now here to fill your nightmares. And I have to stand with this lovely video. Thanks to our producer, Lauren. All right, researchers have found that hurricanes can actually make spiders more aggressive. That's right. That's because in storm-prone areas like the East Coast, spider colonies strongly pursue food and then lay more eggs after a big storm. There you go. Happy Monday, friends. Oh, just what we need on this Monday, talking about creepy, crawly spiders becoming even more aggressive.
If hurricanes and spiders weren't scary enough, throw in the fact that they get more aggressive. It's crazy.
No, I don't like
unreal.
Spiders, so that was, yeah, you know.
Well, the good thing is we don't face that many hurricanes here.
That's true. That's true. And the
East Coast
weather
thing.
has been beautiful.
Oh, man, and it's just going to get a little bit more beautiful as we head further into the week. Temperatures are warming up.
That
You excited about that?
I'm excited.
All right. We got some suntan weather headed for us here next couple days. Temperatures warming up here on the Central Coast, especially inland. Today, temperatures were in the 70s to 80s. Tomorrow, we're looking at 80s to 90s. Wednesday and Thursday, though, will be warm to even slightly hot. We're going to stay mild on the coast, but those temperatures will slowly warm up as we head throughout the work week. Inland spots, we are on average in the mid 80s today. Moving into tomorrow, we'll warm up about 5 or 6 degrees or so for several spots. Will be in the 80s to 90s, getting close to the triple digits. But I think Wednesday and Thursday will be the warmest of those 2 days for the work week. Thursday, look for temperatures mostly in the mid to upper 90s to triple digits. Here on the coast, however, waking up to cloudy conditions. We'll see those widespread low clouds throughout the inland valleys tomorrow. So driving off to work in the morning, look out for some more patchy drizzle. We saw lots of that this morning, especially over the weekend. Sunday, I know Santa Cruz was drizzly for most of the day. Look for some patchy drizzle early on in the morning. But heading into lunchtime, we'll see that break up. We'll see sunshine from Santa Cruz to Watsonville. Inland spots getting a good dose of that sunshine as well. We'll see patchy clouds throughout the peninsula tomorrow. But if you're in Monterey or Seaside, look for sunny skies around lunchtime. Otherwise, we'll see a few clouds pushing throughout the peninsula throughout the day. So heading off to the bus stop tomorrow morning or heading off to work, look out for that drizzle. but then we'll see a little bit of sunshine out on the coast, especially the north portion of the bay around lunchtime. This is your coastal temperatures, mostly in the upper 60s to low 70s. For lunchtime, we'll be in the low 70s, 3 o'clock getting out of school, maybe head straight off to the beach. It'll be a nice day in Santa Cruz, upper 70s, low 70s out in Capitola. And if you're heading up to the Santa Cruz Mountains tomorrow, maybe you're going hiking out in Henry Cowell State Park, look for temperatures mostly in the mid 80s. Bonnie Doon, upper 70s, mid 60s for Davenport. That'll be the cool spot in Santa Cruz County. Aptos looking at 73 degrees tomorrow, mid 60s for other coastal spots. Here in Salinas, temperatures will mostly be in the low 70s. It'll be in the upper 70s for the San Juan Bautista and 80s for Hollister, Gilroy, and Morgan Hill. On the peninsula, we'll have some nice kayaking weather. If you head out to Carmel, temperatures will be in the low 70s, slightly cooler in Monterey and Seaside tomorrow with that shifting of the winds. That'll help to cool things down just a little bit and keep some clouds for places like Pebble Beach and Pacific Grove. But heading down south, we'll shake some of those cooler temperatures and warm up a couple degrees with temperatures mostly in the mid to upper 80s down the Salinas Valley. If you're heading out to the Pinnacles to go hiking tomorrow, it'll be a nice day, mostly in the low 90s, so you will be feeling some of that warmth. Big Sur, you're looking at mid 70s tomorrow, and our warm spots, of course, will be Bradley and Parkfield, mostly in the mid 90s. Now, drizzly start tomorrow, temperatures in the near 70s, slightly cooler on Wednesday, but then those temperatures start to warm up as we head into the weekend, ever so gently. So next weekend, great weekend to plan out those weekend activities with temperatures mostly in the 70s to 80s with a few clouds near the bay at times. Inland spots, 80s and 90s tomorrow. Warming up through Thursday. That'll be the warmest day of the work week with 80s, 90s, and triple digits. Slight cool down Friday, but next weekend look for warm to even hot conditions inland, warming back up into the upper 90s to triple digits. So make sure to stay hydrated and, of course, keep those sunglasses handy. Hamida?
All right, all good advice. Thank you, Zach. In Santa Cruz County now, many people relying on the Metro bus system are facing late or canceled buses. The Metro is currently in contract negotiations with their operators union, and it's having a major impact on services. Negotiations have already been going on for months, but the CEO says the largest disagreement deals with overtime pay. Some operators want to retain double overtime, while Metro is offering time and a half. Until they come to that agreement, the operators union is asking drivers not to accept overtime, which is causing delays and cancellations and hurting customers.
They are dependent on us, and this was the worst job action this union could have done because it impacts our customers directly and in a big way. We have bus operators who are creating this problem, highest seniority bus operators, who make between $125,000 and $135,000 a year. I think we're pretty generous.
Alex Clifford with Metro says in the meantime he hopes riders will continue to be patient and also sign up for alerts through the Metro website. He says staff is working to alert riders a day in advance when certain routes will be impacted so they can then plan accordingly. A man violently beaten by men at a bar who his attackers mistook him for during that altercation. The search is on tonight for the person police say stabbed someone to death on the campus of Cal State Fullerton. Police say a Cal State Fullerton consultant was murdered. Officers found a backpack underneath the victim's car today. The bomb squad was then called in to inspect it. And officers say several disturbing items were found that police believe are linked to the suspect.
Inside the backpack, there was an incendiary device that was located. Obviously, it was not triggered nor set off. Also inside the backpack were items that one would use to potentially use to kidnap somebody, as well as a weapon.
Police say witnesses told dispatchers they saw the victim bleeding in his car. Emergency responders tried to save him, but he died in the parking lot. A California man says he was mistaken for a suspected child predator and violently beaten. Kevin Martin says he was at a bar in Norco Thursday when a visibly intoxicated man asked to speak with him outside. Martin says another man then followed him, took out a phone, and showed him a police sketch. You see on the right side there, that sketch. Martin says he recognized that sketch was a suspect from a sexual predator incident in May. Martin says he was then punched and choked by the men. 2 people came to his rescue before sheriff's deputies arrived. Police confirmed Martin is not that suspect. A controversial diet app for kids and teens has experts worried about long-term effects, how it works, and a response from the app's creator coming up. Plus, the holidays will be here before you know it. We've got some ways to help you save on Turkey Day travel. A health alert for you now. Nearly 100 severe lung illnesses linked to vaping are under investigation tonight in 14 states. The CDC is looking into dozens of cases where e-cigarette users inhaled some kind of vapors. An 18-year-old in Florida posted Instagram videos showing his chest before and after he had surgery to repair a hole in his lung. His surgeon told CBS News his lungs were inflamed, which could have been caused by something he'd been inhaling.
But now, you've never been a smoker, a traditional smoker.
Never, yeah.
What have you been using?
Juul.
Juul.
Yeah, cigarettes are just obsolete.
Doctors say it's possible vaping may have contributed to it. Juul declined to comment on this case in Florida, but says it's monitoring the ongoing investigation into the other lung injury cases. The American Vaping Association takes the position that it's not nicotine, but illegal drugs, or THC, an ingredient in marijuana, that likely caused those injuries. Weight Watchers just launched a healthy eating program called Curbo with users as young as 8 years old, and that is rubbing some people the wrong way. While some see it as a way of shaming young kids into losing weight, others see it, though, as a tool to help young people deal with a common issue. The app works with a traffic light system to promote portion control. Kids can eat whatever they want, but categorize the veggies and fruits as green, meat and pasta as yellow, and candy and soda as red. Curbo says it is proven to be a safe way for effective weight loss, but others disagree.
We know that dieting for children is not healthy. It is challenging on how to approach that with children and adolescents. You have to be really careful about how you talk about these things and the messages you're sending.
Curbo responded to criticism, saying, quote, Curbo by Weight Watchers focuses on behavior change for healthier eating and more activity, not dieting or calorie counting. If you can't make it through the day without a nap, you might want to listen up. Researchers specifically examined the parts of the brain involved in keeping us awake during the day. In Alzheimer's patients, they found a degeneration of their wakefulness network. Because of that, researchers conclude there's a more direct biological pathway between Alzheimer's and daytime sleepiness, but admit more research still needs to be done. You may still be paying off that summer vacation, but if you're traveling for Thanksgiving, get that credit card back out again. Mandy Gaither has more in tonight's Consumer Watch.
It's months away, but experts say it's never too early to plan for Thanksgiving travel. In fact, it could save you money. According to Consumer Reports, you'll find the lowest holiday airfares if you book travel before early September. Flexibility can help when searching for inexpensive fares. For instance, planning to return after the weekend ends, maybe on Tuesday or Wednesday, can help keep prices down. For last-minute travelers, there's still hope for low-priced fares. According to new numbers from the online travel search engine Skyscanner, some great Thanksgiving holiday travel deals in the past have been found 2 to 3 weeks in advance. The website says those beginning their travels on Tuesday or Wednesday can find the best deals 1 month to 2 weeks in advance. While week-long travelers' lowest fares tend to be found 2 months before the holiday to 2 weeks out. For today's Consumer Watch, I'm Mandy Gaither.
A blast from the past sent one woman to the happiest place on earth. More on how she was able to get in for a day of fun. Welcome back. Disneyland honored a free admission ticket. A Canadian woman won during a visit 34 years ago, 1985. So she recently paid a visit to the park, and the park honored that decades-old ticket.
Wow.
Incredible, right?
Dreams always coming true at Disneyland.
Right?
How about
Making
that?
dreams come true.
I think so. I'd like to get out there. And finally tonight, it is National Soft Serve Ice Cream Day. Fun fact, secret ingredient behind soft serve ice cream is actually air. We don't know.
There you go.
Yeah, we don't know exactly who's behind the sweet treat, but it's been around since the 1940s, so grab a cone and enjoy. I wanted one today.
Oh my gosh, sounds so good. Oh, quickly, Zach, you have
I have a picture for us. Yeah,
a
friend
picture.
sent this into my Facebook, and it is absolutely gorgeous. This was portrait mode.
Oh,
in
beautiful.
Sand City.
Gorgeous. We will see you tomorrow. Wake Up starts at 5.
Good fight.